Who's under the most pressure of the newcomers, James, to have an immediate impact? You went Ingram yesterday that you were keeping an eye on. Is he your answer to this question as well, or are you going to go a different direction?
No, I think it's Jahdae Barron. I think it's the first-round pick.
Really?
Yeah, and here's why. Because when the Broncos were up at 20, Omarion Hampton was on the board, and they needed running back, right? So this is a little bit of a combination of Barron and R.J. Harvey of like they both are, right? Like Sean has to get it right. But your first-round picks, there's a lot of pressure on you anyway. And you could even throw Matthew Golden on there as well. Receiver was on the board. So the Broncos decided to not go running back or receiver, two positions in need, going on offense. Everybody wanted him to get a skill position player. Everybody wanted him to get him a weapon for Bo. Instead, they go defense. They go cornerback, a luxury position, when they already have the best cornerback in football. That guy has to be a player. He has to be somebody that we all look at it and say, oh, my God, people try and avoid PS2. They're going at somebody that he's not as good, but he's pretty darn good, and that's what makes this defense great. He has to be that guy. And if we sit there and look at Omarion Hampton rushing for 1,200, 1,300, 1,400 yards for the Chargers, for a division rival, that's not going to age well. So I think he's under the most pressure.
Okay, but what if he doesn't even get on the field? What if they just roll with Riley Moss and Jaquan McMillan?
Then he's a bust. He's a first-round pick. He has to start week 1. He has to. Like, you can't beat out Riley Moss. Come on.
I mean, they went BPA because they feel their roster is that good. Best player available.
So he can't get on the field ahead of Moss and McMillan?
They like Moss and McMillan.
Well, then that was a terrible pick. It was a terrible pick. Omarion Hampton would be the starter. They wouldn't have signed J.K. Dobbins if they draft Hampton. They wouldn't have.
Okay.
So that's a lot of pressure on him to live up to. We passed on arguably the best back in the draft, a guy that now is playing for the division rival, at our biggest position of need at the time.
Well, I think,
right?
I think Genti was the best running back in the draft.
Okay. All right. Well, so
Second
but he's in the conversation.
Sure.
Right? So that's a lot of pressure.
I'm not even sure if he's going to get on the field, at least not week 1.
I just think we've forgotten the circumstances of when they picked him. And everybody's just come to the conclusion like, they got the steal of the first round. The fact that he was still there at 20, they couldn't pass on. I'm like, all right, they already have the best cornerback in football. And they took another cornerback when they had needs at running back. They have needs at receiver. And they passed on two good options there in Omarion Hampton and Matthew Golden to take another corner. And you're telling me he might not get on the field? No, he's a first-round pick. He's got to start week 1.
Who are you benching for him? Like, you going to put him in the slot and tell McMillan to get lost? You going to put him opposite PS2 and just make him your number 2 corner?
He should be your number 2 corner. But we also hear, he's this versatile guy. You can play him anywhere. Okay, great. Then move him all over the place. He can play both. He can be, they can play him at some safety. I don't know, but he ought to be out there a significant number of snaps, a high percentage of snaps every single game. He's a first-round pick, and you took him over 2 guys who could have come in and probably started week 1. I mean, Omarion Hampton would be their starter week 1 if they'd taken him at number 20.
Yeah, I don't even know if J.K. Dobbins would be here.
I don't think he would be. And I think we'd be talking about, okay, opposite of Cortland Sutton is Matthew Golden, and who's battling for the number 3 spot? And it would be, hey, are they going to give Cortland Sutton a new contract? I don't know. They just took a receiver in the first round that should turn into their number 1 guy. Like, that changes the conversation for so many other people if they would have gone with another choice at number 20. And now it's a guy like, he may play. This defense is so... No. You don't think the guy that they drafted as a corner in the first round would have gone out and done a better job against T. Higgins?
We'd have to see. We'd have to see if he'll get that chance.
Then he's a terrible pick.
Well, no, but I'm saying week 4, Monday Night Football, the Bengals are here. So we'll have to see if he gets that chance. Because what's going to happen that night? PS2 is going to be on Jamar Chase, and we'll figure out who's on T. Higgins.
If you have a first-round pick that doesn't start, unless you're the Eagles or the Chiefs, unless you were in the Super Bowl last year, then it was a bad pick.
All right, my pick's also going to be in the secondary, and it's Talenoa Hufanga. He's got the most pressure of the new additions because the Broncos gave him a 3-year deal worth up to $45 million, including $20 million guaranteed. I like Hufanga. I think when he's on the field, he's a dynamic safety. But the fact of the matter is he's played 1 full season since becoming a full-time starter in 2022. ACL in 23, wrist injury last season. He's got pressure on him. I know it's football. I know guys get hurt. I know you can't always control it. But he's got pressure on him to live up to that deal, stay healthy. And I'm not going to say play 17 games, but play 14, 15 games this year for the Broncos. If you got to go to P.J. Locke a few times opposite Brandon Jones, that's okay. But he can't have another season where he plays 7, 8, 9 games. That's just not going to work. Hufanga has pressure on him because they put a lot of money into him. Second year in a row, they've put a lot of money into the safety position, and he needs to be out there almost every snap for the Broncos this season.
I mean, I think their defense will be better if he's on the field, without a doubt. If they have to play P.J. Locke, though, I don't know that it's a huge problem. I mean, it's a step down. There's a reason they signed the guy. And I see what you're saying of, all right, he's got to live up to the deal that he got. And this is going to sound funny, but at the end of the day, that's just money. They kind of have unlimited money. You're the one that says the salary cap's a myth. They have the richest owners in sports. They can sign guys all. If that's a miss, you know what you do next offseason? You just write another check to another guy. Draft picks, first-round draft picks, they're limited. You only have so many of them. That's how you build your team is through the draft, through youth, guys that are on rookie contracts. Like, to me, you can't miss on that. I'm with you from the standpoint of if Hufanga's good, that defense, if they're going to live up to the NFL.com story of them being the best defense in football, he's going to have to live up to expectations. I don't know how he's a flop and this defense is the best defense in football.
Right, and you said, if he's bad or can't stay healthy, then you just write a check to a new guy next year. I get that thinking, but I'm also not interested in next year. I'm interested in this year. I think this team can be special this year. That's why Hufanga's under the most pressure because, like you said, if they're going to be special, they're going to need him playing a big chunk of snaps, and I'm talking 90+% of them.
So I get where you're coming from. I guess just look at the two options, Hufanga and Barron. If they have a bad season, which one do you think the Broncos get more criticism for?
Hufanga. Because Barron, they just took BPA, and he's a project, and he's going to help them down the road.
Project? What? What is this free pass the Broncos are getting on their first-round pick?
You called it a luxury position, and I think when we get out there at camp, you're not going to notice Jahdae Barron much because I think it's going to be PS2, Riley Moss, and Jaquan McMillan with Jahdae Barron working against the twos.
Well, here's going to be the other reason. They didn't spend money on Hufanga instead of spending it on a receiver or a running back. Right? Like, they didn't make that decision. To me, they took Barron instead of Hampton or Golden. That's what puts pressure on him to me. Especially, because
what if Pat Bryant and R.J. Harvey are both good, though, and they say, hey, we didn't need to take running back and wide receiver in the first round because we got him in the second and third round.
Maybe, so the second and third round pick can bail him out? Oh, you can't get on the field, but the fact that the second round pick is good, so we didn't need Hampton, and the third round pick is good, we didn't need Golden. So now the Broncos just get a free pass for blowing it at number 20? I don't like the way this not just from you, the way this conversation's going around this town, that there's zero expectations for the Broncos' first round pick.
He didn't stand out at OTAs, minicamp, any of that.
I don't get that. And if there was a guy that we wanted them to go sign, a running back we wanted them to go sign, a receiver we wanted them to go sign, and they don't have the money because they spent it on Hufanga, okay, then I get it. Like, you better be on the field, and you better make this defense great. But they still signed J.K. Dobbins, and he was, among the best options out there. They still have money. They could go sign Keenan Allen or a receiver if they wanted to. So I just look at that of like, yeah, you don't want to waste money, but if you wasted money on him, not that big a deal. You can't afford to waste first-round picks. And it sounded to me like everybody in this town is just fine with it being a bad pick.
Another name that we didn't mention wasn't either of our choices, but I think he would have been a valid choice is Dre Greenlaw. The pressure on Dre Greenlaw as well. We all feel bad for what happened to him in the Super Bowl. I mean, just trying to run on the field and popping your Achilles is absolutely brutal. But another guy, he didn't get as big a money as Hufanga, but you're already hearing whispers of Danny Trevathan, Brandon Marshall, best middle linebacker since Super Bowl 50. Let's be honest. Those two were flying around the football field. That's what fans want to see from Dre Greenlaw this year as well.
He's the best middle linebacker they've had since Danny Trevathan. He is. I mean, now he's got to stay healthy, but they have tried to just patchwork that position for a decade. And Alex Singleton is a nice player, but he's been the best they've had since Trevathan and Marshall. So everybody acts like he's, Brian Urlacher in his prime. He makes a lot of tackles 9 yards downfield. Let's get a guy in there who makes tackles at the line of scrimmage. and can
Al Wilson
Yeah, exactly.
comes and blows you up right at the line.
Right, and is a sideline to sideline middle linebacker, a middle linebacker that can cover tight ends. How many years have we talked about how the Broncos can't cover tight ends?
Oh,
It feels
a
like
decade
forever.
at least, yeah.
It feels like that conversation has been happening my entire life.
Well, and literally ever since
84 years.
yeah, Travis Kelce getting in the league was kind of that line in the sand too.
Well, and that exacerbates it, right? The best tight end in football for the majority of that decade has been in their division and just has owned the Broncos. So that certainly has made it stand out more. But no, Greenlaw's got pressure on him. I think if those two guys live up to their potential and can stay healthy, then yes, this defense can be in the top 5, maybe the best defense in football. If they don't, I don't know how they're any better than they were last year, and I'm worried about how they finished the season. I'm worried about how they played in Buffalo when they couldn't get off the field and the Bills had the ball for 42 minutes.
Another name on this list that we haven't mentioned could be R.J. Harvey as well, just because second-round pick on a running back is in my eyes, again, a premium pick, and we're just desperate for a good running back. I haven't had one since Phillip Lindsay. So R.J. Harvey, people are kind of touting him as the savior at that position, and I get he's a rookie, but I think people want to see that R.J. Harvey can perform at the NFL level. If he comes out there and just looks like Audric Estime and is fumbling the ball or is just 2.7 yards a carry, we're going to be like, here we go again, another bust in the running back room.
I think he needs to look as good as Javonte did as a rookie. Now, in a different way, Javonte had the made-up stat of most broken tackles in the league, which, who's going through and counting that? Some nerd in his basement. I'd never bought that. But, we were all encouraged by Javonte after the rookie year. I think we need to be in that same kind of position with R.J. Harvey. Ooh, this guy has the potential to be special. I'm not going to Zach Byatt and call him special after one okay year, but I'm with you. We want to see that, okay, this guy has the makings of the running back of the future.